businesses to face
all right, my friends,
violence,
J.R. Dukes
vandalism,
here
and threats.
live. We're
It
going
is
straight to
unacceptable for
Washington, D.C. We have the
universities to
Speaker of the
allow
House,
Hamas
Mike Johnson,
apologists
speaking
to
to
assault and
a
accost Jewish
large
students
group.
on
Thousands
campus.
have gathered in Washington, D.C. to support Israel. Let's listen in right now.
It is unacceptable for any political leader in this nation to give credence to this dangerous rhetoric. We can and we must do more to stand with our great ally and friend. And it is my hope that this gathering today serves as a reminder to the entire world, but also to those within our own borders, that the United States stands proudly with Israel and the Jewish people forever, forever. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this. God bless you.
Now, there was the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and here's the minority leader that represents the Democrats. He's about to take the podium right now.
Leader Schumer, Speaker Johnson, Senator Ernst, all those assembled, shalom. What an honor and a blessing to stand with you in solidarity during this very difficult moment for the Jewish people and for Israel. Hamas brutally attacked Israel on October 7th because Hamas wants to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. So let me be clear. We will never let that happen.
Yay. Amen.
Congress will continue to support, in a bipartisan way, the state of Israel and Israel's unequivocal right to exist as a Jewish and democratic state, always and forever. Always and forever. Always and forever. From the very beginning of this conflict, President Joe Biden has strongly supported the state of Israel. And I strongly support President Biden's supplemental funding request for Israel, for Ukraine, and for humanitarian assistance. We must also decisively address the cancer of anti-Semitism with the fierce urgency of now. An attack on any of us is an attack on all of us. And we are going to do everything possible to stop the anti-Semitic attacks against our Jewish brothers and sisters. The United States and Israel have a special relationship. Our commitment to Israel's security is ironclad. And let me be clear, Israel has an absolute right to defend itself against Hamas terror.
Amen. Mr. Jeffries, Minority Leader, amen.
There's a question on the minds of many of us. Where do we go from here? We must stand with Israel in its effort to decisively defeat Hamas and make sure that this brutal terrorist regime can never rise again. We must make sure that every single hostage is returned home safely. And then we must stand together to secure a just and lasting peace between Israel and the Palestinian people. The special relationship between the United States and Israel is, yes, rooted in our shared values and our shared strategic interests. But the moral case for Israel is anchored in the painful history of the Jewish people. For centuries, Jews have been persecuted, brutalized by anti-Semitism, and violently thrown out of country after country. The Jewish people were violently expelled from Jerusalem by the Roman Empire. The Jewish people were violently expelled from Alexandria. The Jewish people were violently expelled from France. The Jewish people were violently expelled from England. The Jewish people were violently expelled from Spain. The Jewish people were violently expelled from Switzerland. The Jewish people were violently expelled from Portugal. The Jewish people were violently expelled from countries all throughout Europe. The Jewish people were violently expelled from the Middle East. The Jewish people were systematically murdered by the Nazi regime. The Jewish people were violently attacked by Hamas on October 7th, resulting in the largest loss of Jewish life in a single day since the Holocaust. So we are here, more than 100,000 people strong, to unequivocally declare never again. Never again. Never again. The state of Israel must always exist as a safe haven for the Jewish people. And so we stand together with the Jewish community in Israel. We stand together with the Jewish community in America. We stand together with the Jewish community all throughout the world. We stand together in the effort to crush anti-Semitism. We stand together in the effort to crush anti-Jewish hate. We stand together in the effort to bring home the hostages. We stand together in the effort to make sure that America will always be a safe space for the Jewish community in every single zip code. God bless the hostages. God bless Israel. God bless the United States of America.
All right, that's Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
United States of America, do you stand with Israel? Folks, I am here today as a longtime friend and staunch supporter of our greatest partner in the Middle East, Israel. In December 2014, before I was even sworn in to the United States Senate, I visited Kibbutz Nir Oz in southern Israel by the Gaza border. One of the kibbutzim that was hit the hardest by Hamas on October 7th. Israel and her people hold a very special place in my heart. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here to show your unwavering support for our Jewish brothers and sisters. What Iran-backed Hamas perpetrated on October 7th was pure evil, and those monsters deserve nothing short of complete and total destruction. Three days after the heinous terror attacks, I was on the ground in Israel, meeting with American and Israeli families and sitting across the table from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as well as opposition leader Lapid. We heard from a father who rushed over from the funeral of his son's 18-year-old best friend who had just been brutally murdered at the hands of Hamas. We spoke with the family of an 80-year-old father of 5, a peace activist who drove Palestinian children to doctor's appointments, who was kidnapped from his home during the invasion. With tears in their eyes, his family recounted the inhumanity of the attack, the destruction of their home, and ultimately the death of their brother, while he was valiantly defending their home and family. In every meeting, the message was abundantly clear. Do not let the United States cower when the world starts to. Stand steadfastly in your solidarity. So we are here today as Republicans and as Democrats to assure you we will not shrink back and shudder in fear, as we will not shudder in fear as too many around the world already have. We will not sit quiet. as anti-Semitism is being promulgated in classrooms and campuses around the country. The brutal reality of Hamas cannot be diminished. They murder babies. They rape women. They abuse the elderly. They killed 30 of our fellow Americans, hundreds of our Israeli friends, and are currently, right now, holding 200 innocent men, women, and children hostage. How anyone in America could sympathize with these terrorists is truly unfathomable. Friends, there should not be a shred of anti-Semitism in our country. Not now, not ever. Not only today, but in the coming weeks and months, as Israel fights to secure their most basic human right, the right to life, the United States must remain resolute. In the Senate, we will continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with all of you, our Jewish friends in Israel, the United States, and around the world. May God be with those who have lost a loved one, those who are waiting on the phone for an update about a son or daughter, those who are facing unprecedented harassment and hostility, and those whose family members bravely serving in the Middle East. And may God bless Israel. God bless Israel. As she rightly defends herself against Hamas's brutal attacks, Israel, the United States will always have your back.
Let's hold up our hands and go.
Amen.
We stand with Israel.
We stand with Israel. Amen. Love it. Thousands gather right now in Washington, D.C. as a strong showing of support for the beloved country of Israel.
With Israel.
Shai Rebo.
צהריים טובים, קהל יקר ואהוב. אנחנו ממש מרגישים זכות להיות כאן היום איתכם. זו הזדמנות גם לומר תודה לתמיכה הגדולה של ארצות הברית שמאפשרים את המעמד האדיר הזה. לא מובן מאליו. היום זה ראש חודש כסלו, ובראש חודש כסלו אנחנו יודעים שזה החודש שבו האור גבר על החושך. ועכשיו אני רואה מול העיניים שלי אור אין סוף. יש פה מלא אור, והוא ודאי יגבר על החושך הזה שחווינו בשבת הקשה הזאת. אבל מאז התגלה בעם שלנו, בתוך הכאב ובתוך השבר, התגלו עוצמות אדירות של אהבה, של נתינה, של חסד, של עין טובה. כל הפילוג שהיה נעלם והפכנו להיות לב אחד. והיום אנחנו כאן במעמד עם מאות אלפי יהודים ותומכי ישראל ואוהבי ישראל. מעמד היסטורי. אז אני רוצה לנצל את הבמה הזאת איתכם ולומר פרק תהילים שכתב דוד המלך, ככה בכוונה גדולה, שיהיה לי זכות עם ישראל, שיהיה לי זכות חיילי צה"ל, שיהיה לי זכות הילדים, הילדות והמשפחות שנמצאות שם בשבי, שיחזרו בריאים בגופם ובנפשם. ושיהיה לי זכות הביחד הזה, כמו שכתוב, שהיה במעמד הר סיני, שזה לדעתי הכי קרוב למעמד הר סיני בכמות, שנזכה להיות כאיש אחד בלב אחד לנצח. אז נגיד פסוק ואתם תחזרו אחריי. שיר המעלות אשא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי. עזרי מעם אדוני, עושה שמיים וארץ.
All right, with copyright issues and things along them lines, I am going to conclude sharing at this point. Obviously, YouTube has their own rules, and I try to comply with their rules, but clearly a huge demonstration in Washington, D.C., a ton of people showing up to support the great country of Israel and their people. I will monitor it. I will come back live. If there's anything that is worth you knowing about, you'll hear it here first, as I'm monitoring several channels and many different live feeds. So at any rate, appreciate you joining me today. As always, my friends, keep that mind positive, never give up. I am J.R. Dukes.